your love. Lord, send your spirit and fall afresh on us. Fill us with your power, Lord, and fill us with your love. Lord, send your spirit and fall afresh on us. The Hebrew language has very few words. And one of the results of that is that words do double duty. We don't have a lot of words in English that do double duty. Most of the time, a language will be very well developed in what it really goes for. Like if you go into Greek, it's very well developed in philosophy, okay? Extremely well developed in philosophical terms. English in the United States is extremely well developed in financial terms. I mean, we have all kinds of words for money and all kinds of things. And, but anyway, in the Hebrew language, the word awe, A-W-E, and the word fear are exactly the same word. Okay? So you need, when you read a text, like for instance, it tells us perfect love casts out fear. Well, perfect love casts out being afraid of God. Because once you understand love, you'll never be afraid of someone who loves you. Flat out. The thing, you and I don't have this kind of love for anyone, but if we did, then it would eliminate any kind of being afraid of God. But awe of God's the beginning of wisdom. You realize if it's the same word, love of God destroys your mind. Okay? Because love would cast out wisdom. But awe creates wisdom, and love destroys being afraid of God. Okay? So, but you just might think of that when you read the text, that fear of the Lord is normally awe in the presence of God. And incidentally, awe, when you, I'll give you an example of awe, dealing with the Queen of England. When I was at the University of Ottawa, the Queen of England came to Canada when I was there. And there was going to be a banquet given for her in the American Embassy. And so they wanted to invite a bunch of Americans, and the Americans there are students. So they invited us. We all got invitations. And the first part of the invitation was to show up one day for a presentation on it, and then, you know, for the dinner. And we found out that anyone who didn't show up for the presentation didn't get an invitation to the dinner. But we got a very complex presentation on first how you eat, okay? They have more utensils set on a table than most surgery rooms I've ever been in. You know, I've never seen so many things. And you had to know the right one to the, and I think the other things you know very well, that if you actually end up talking to the Queen and she wanders through the group, you do not physically touch her. And secondly, you don't bring up a topic, you respond to her, you know. How's your son's marriage? No, you do not talk about that. Okay. You don't say that, okay? So, but anyway, we went through this whole class. It was the most miserable meal I've ever been at my entire life. Every time, before I could pick up anything, I had to go through my whole mind which one it was and then look and make sure everyone had exactly the same utensil. It was awful, flat out awful, you know. But really what created that was awe. You know, I wasn't afraid the Queen would kill me. I was in an embassy. I was on American land. You know, I wasn't afraid that the Queen would kill me. I didn't want to make a fool of myself. And see, that's what I want to be in the presence of God. I'm not afraid God will kill me. He's gone out of his way to make sure I live forever. He's not going to kill me. But the fact of the matter is, I don't want to embarrass him. I love that when I'm around people, they know that he's my God. And they know that the way I relate with him. But I want to spend my life making sure at the very least I don't want to embarrass him. And that's to live in the awe of God. When you live in the fear of the Lord, you stand in awe of that. Your love.